Picture this. You're standing at the edge of a long, swaying bridge. Far below, a river you can barely see. You step out. The planks shift under your weight. Your hands tighten on the rope. You don't dare look down for long. Between the planks, you can see straight to the bottom. Your heart starts to pound. Your palms go damp. Your breath turns shallow and quick. And there, at the other end, someone is waiting for you. They smile. They hand you a piece of paper, a name, a number. Call me, they say, if you have any questions. Just a number, in case you think of anything later. And something in your chest leans toward them. You walk away, but you keep glancing back. You think, maybe this is the start of something. But here's the question this whole video turns on. Was that feeling really love, or was it just the bridge? Can you tell the difference between fear and attraction? You'd think the answer is obvious. Picture the last time you were nervous. Now the last time you were thrilled. The body barely tells them apart, but inside your body, the two feel almost exactly the same. Racing heart, quick breath, a jolt of energy. Fear and desire run on the very same machinery. Your body sends the signal, but the signal arrives with no label on it, so your brain does something quietly astonishing. It guesses. It scans the scene, finds the likeliest cause, and pins a name on the feeling. On a date, the obvious cause is the person across from you, so the brain writes one word: attraction. Most of the time, it guesses right, but the brain can be fooled, and when it is, things get strange. In 1974, two psychologists set out to fool that brain on purpose. Dutton and Aron found a spot in Vancouver with two very different bridges. One was low, solid, and boring. The other hung high over a canyon and swayed with every single step. They had men cross one bridge or the other. On each bridge, the same woman stopped them and asked a few survey questions. Afterward, she gave each man her number, in case he had questions about the study. But first, she ran a quiet test. She showed each man an ambiguous picture and asked for a short story. The picture meant nothing on its own. Whatever the men saw, they brought to it themselves. On the terrifying bridge, the men wrote stories far more charged and romantic than those on the safe one. Their own imaginations gave them away. But the real test was simpler. Who would call her back? The results were startling. So let's look at them. Off the safe, sturdy bridge, almost no one called. Just 9% of the men. Off the terrifying bridge, 39%. More than 4 times as many men called her. Same woman, same questions. The only thing that changed between them was the fear. Their hearts were pounding from the bridge, but standing before a stranger, their brains grabbed the nearest explanation. Not, I'm terrified of this bridge. Instead, I must be drawn to her. And here's the detail that clinches it. They ran the same study with one change. Sometimes a man waited at the end of the bridge instead of the woman. With a man waiting, the effect vanished. The pounding heart needed a target the brain could call attraction. Psychologists had a name for this engine: the two-factor theory of emotion. An emotion, it says, is 2 ingredients: a body that's stirred up and a story your mind tells about why. On its own, the racing heart means nothing. It's raw. It's waiting for a story. Change the story and you change the feeling, even when the body hasn't changed at all. This idea has roots. In 1962, Schachter and Singer gave people a shot of adrenaline. It set their hearts racing. But some weren't told why. They just felt a buzz with no explanation. Beside a happy person, they felt euphoric. Beside an angry one, furious. Same buzz, the room chose the emotion. Your body sets the volume. The room around you picks the song. You might ask, why would a mind be built this badly? But it isn't a flaw. It's a shortcut. For most of history, a racing heart meant danger. Naming it fast mattered more than naming it perfectly. A brain that labels feelings in a blink kept your ancestors alive. That speed trips you up on a date. Now, you might object. Maybe the scary bridge just put the men in a bold, reckless mood. So here are the experiments that close that door, and they get stranger as they go. First, men were told they'd soon receive an electric shock, while a woman sat nearby. No bridge this time, just the dread of what was coming, and the heart raced all the same. The men expecting the worst shock rated the woman beside them more attractive than those expecting barely a tingle. Fear with no bridge at all, same result. The arousal was borrowed, the woman got the credit. But the strangest experiment of all removed the fear completely. A researcher named Stuart Valins sat men down with headphones facing a screen. He told them they'd hear their own heartbeat while they looked at photographs of strangers. He showed them a series of faces. For most, the heartbeat in their ears stayed calm and steady. But for certain photos, Valins secretly sped that heartbeat up. There was no fear, no bridge. His real body had barely changed at all. Because the racing heartbeat wasn't even his. It was a recording, a fake. And the faces paired with that faster heartbeat were the ones the men rated as more attractive. They didn't just feel a flicker. They genuinely believed they preferred those particular faces. Sit with what that means. The body signal can be completely fabricated, and the brain will still build a real, sincere feeling right on top of it. The cause is optional. Give the mind a racing heart and a face, and it writes the rest itself. So step back into your own life for a second. The first date at the scary movie, the hike up the cliff, the turbulence on the flight. Every one of them floods you with the exact arousal your brain has learned to read as attraction. And sitting right beside you, the nearest explanation has a face. This is why thrill ride dates work, why people fall hard for someone during a crisis. The setting can manufacture a spark that feels like destiny, then hand all the credit to a person. Now, a fair caveat, because honesty matters here. This isn't a magic love switch, and later research complicated it. If someone isn't your type to begin with, that same racing heart can actually sharpen your dislike. Arousal doesn't conjure attraction from nothing. It amplifies whatever lean was already there. It's not a spark, it's a magnifier. A faint maybe becomes a loud yes, a quiet no, a clear one. So here's something you can actually do with this. It's small and it works. Before you trust a sudden rush of feeling, scan the room. Is it loud, high up, frightening? Just notice it. You're not debunking the feeling. You're just checking how much of it the room might be lending you. And it runs the other direction too. A calm, quiet room can make a real connection feel like almost nothing. Some of the steadiest love feels a little boring at first. There's no bridge nearby to borrow a thrill from. So don't only distrust the rush. Don't dismiss the calm either. Both can mislead you. Which brings us all the way back to that bridge at the start. The pull you felt toward the stranger was real. You honestly did feel it. The only question was where it came from. And your body genuinely didn't know. Maybe the real skill isn't trusting the feeling. It's asking a quieter question. What else is in the room? Because the next time your heart races near someone, it might be them. It honestly might. But it might also be the bridge, the deadline, the loud music, the fear you walked in already carrying. Your heart keeps the rhythm. Your mind writes the lyrics. So, can you tell love from fear? Maybe the wiser move is admitting you might not be able to. If you'd rather understand your own mind than be quietly run by it, subscribe. See you next time.